This is TWiT.
CES.
CES. First of all, that is not an Apple Watch, but
No.
it sure looks like it.
It's got the Apple Watch wannabe look to it,
what
but
is that?
this is actually a Wii S. So the whole idea behind something like this is they wanted to give you the functions of a smartwatch. So it will do all the health monitoring. It will actually be a watch. It will allow you to do your notifications.
Do you have to pair it to a phone though? Is it standalone? Or
you can stand this alone, but I mean, you really kind of, you don't get notifications if you don't stand it alone.
Oh, but it will do notifications. So it does everything an Apple Watch does, basically.
Yeah, basically, except one big difference. This lasts 30 days on a single charge.
What?
Yeah, so I'm not charging this every night. I'm not even charging it every week. I'm charging it once a month. And actually, I can go even longer than that if I don't pair it. If I don't do notifications, so it's not always pinging to my phone.
But it does heart rate?
It does heart rate.
It does steps.
It does steps. I mean, yeah, if you're just looking for a way to get some health information, this is a much more economical way to do it. It's less than half the price of an Apple Watch. This is what, $149?
And it's available now?
It's available now. You can get this on Amazon. So what I love about this watch, even though I haven't set the date yet, is that when I talked to them at Showstoppers, they said the whole philosophy behind this is they didn't want to be like the other manufacturers and put a phone on your wrist, a low-power phone on your wrist. They said, we want to give you a watch, and we'll make it a little bit smart. And we can do it at a price point that's way below what you might be able to buy, and we'll have all the functions that you would expect on your wrist. I think it's a much better way to do it than putting like an Android watch or an Apple Watch.
And the thing that's going to drive Apple crazy, it's indistinguishable from it. I'm wearing an Apple Watch,
but
let
me take this
yours
off,
looks just like mine.
Put it next to yours. I mean, look, you see.
Can you change the bands easily?
Oh yeah, of course. Actually, they gave me a box of bands.
It's a 42 millimeter, probably standard. Yeah, it looks like standard, and it has an easy off thing. It looks like just like an Apple Watch.
It is an Apple Watch. It really is an Apple Watch.
Gun.
Now, of course, even though the UI isn't nearly as nice, it is kind of clunky, but it does everything I want it to do. It will monitor my steps. It will monitor my heart rate. It's waterproof. It's IP68, I believe. So I can take this thing swimming, unlike the Motorola watch that I drowned. And it's at a price point where, yeah, I'll get this.
So tell me again the manufacturer.
This is the Wii S. W-E-S.
Wii-S?
No, just Wii S. Just looking for Wii S. And we'll
Not
have...
Wes.
No.
Wii Space S.
No, just no space. Wii S.
But it looks like Wes.
It's a thing. It kind of does. We'll have all the links in the doc.
Wes's watch.
I've been looking for a watch for a while, and I did have an Apple Watch. I found it was too much. I didn't need it, and I kept getting into this thing where I'd forget to charge it, and well, then I'm not going to wear a dead watch. If this just needs a charge once a month,
great.
That's perfect for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
So usually when we go to CES, what I'm always looking for, besides a way to get out, is what is the theme?
Yeah.
What did you learn from CES this year?
This was kind of weird. Last year, it absolutely was voice assistants. There were voice assistants in everything.
Yeah.
That was from Microsoft, that was from Amazon, that was from Google. This year, you got a lot of that as well, but it was it wasn't the big thing. It's not that people didn't care about it. It was, of course, it's voice
robots? Was that the big thing?
No. I'd say the big thing was the confluence between voice assistants, AI, and automation.
Okay.
Yeah, though that's if I
like Kohler had the bathroom that was all voice assistant AI, like if you went to the bathroom you had to say Echo flush the toilet.
Yeah, I didn't really want that one.
Well, I think it's just ironic. The power went out and the bathroom. I mean, I guess it had some primitive functionality, but it lost most of its. This had a skateboard?
Yeah, there was a lot of IoT / voice assistant enabled technology that I saw that was a big WTF. It's sort of like, okay, why?
I think a lot of this is they're just throwing spaghetti against the wall.
There was
combining stuff.
A voice assistant bread box, and I said, okay, first, who still has a bread box?
How's the bread?
And second, what does that add?
What does it add? Nothing. There's no bread in here.
A lot of voice assistant TVs. Everyone had a voice assistant, either Google or Amazon built in.
We'll talk with Scott Wilkinson about TV technologies. Was Microsoft there?
Microsoft was there. They had a suite, and they had some of their technologies, but they weren't really pushing Cortana. Like last year, they really did. This year, not so much.
Yeah, I think they've kind of said, okay, we missed the boat. It's really a race, a two-horse race between Amazon and Google for the voice assistants. But maybe we can find a niche. In fact, one of the things they're doing is putting Echo into Cortana. But then there's some PC manufacturers who are putting Echo instead of Cortana in PCs. That's got to be a little scary for Microsoft. I think they might have missed the boat on this one. And what about Apple? Apple's not there, right?
No, Apple. And actually, this was a year of conspicuous Apple absence. Apple has never been at CES, but they've always been
dominated the conversation.
Correct.
Everybody's talking about it.
It's their tablets, it's their phones, it's their laptops. It was this. No, you could go through the entire South Hall and not see a single Apple-themed booth.
Was there at least some chagrin in the Intel booth and the AMD booths over a meltdown in Spectre? Were they hanging their heads a little bit?
No. Okay, the people at the booth, they are paid to be peppy and energetic, and they shied away from any of the conversation. I actually asked the question.
Bugs? There's no bugs.
That's been bothering me. I said, okay, how long will it take for messed up chips to make it into the channel so that I can start getting one of those?
Good question. I can buy a new
And
PC.
they said, oh, but you know, that doesn't really matter because all the patches are going to make, okay.
You should buy it anyway. How about Windows on ARM? Because that was, we thought maybe Microsoft's big, they're going to put out ARM-based Windows PCs. Did you see any of those?
I saw a few prototypes.
It didn't have the big buzz that I thought it might have.
It really didn't. People didn't care. I mean, seriously,
what do people care about?
They cared about the cars.
Yeah.
The autonomous cars,
self-driving vehicles.
Self-driving vehicles. Now, there was one company, I'm convinced that this company, or at least their technology, once it gets licensed, is going to be everywhere. There was a company called Coeco. I only saw them at CES Unveiled. I don't think they actually were on the floor. But they've taken the LiDAR, you know, that rotating thing that you see on the corners of a car, which allows them to actually see what's in the environment around the vehicle. They've taken it and they've made it solid state. So there is no rotating sensor anymore. In fact, they've built it into the headlights and the tail lights.
Ah, interesting.
So you could take a vehicle, it looks exactly like every other vehicle, but it's got LiDAR into it. And the way that they've done it is they built it with MEMS technology. It's sort of like the DLP chip on your projector. So they can steer
rotating,
the
but
beam.
you can't see it.
Precisely. And I mean, that's the kind of autonomous vehicle that people want, which is it looks like any other vehicle, it just happens to be able to drive itself.
Very interesting.
That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, one of the other cool things is, have you thought about what you do with your brain, Leo?
What do you mean?
Well,
what I do with my brain?
There were two companies that I found that have EEG devices.
Oh, I saw some of those.
Yeah. So
you put them on your head and it measures your brain waves.
Well, kind of. That was Muse. So Muse had created a headband that looked kind of dorky.
It does an EEG.
It does an
electroencephalogram.
But this year, they actually turned it into a pair of sunglasses, and you can almost not see the technology.
You can measure it on your temples, can't you?
Right, and it's sort of like feedback. So if you're trying to do stateful meditation, it can actually tell you whether or not your brain is active.
This is like we've seen this for 30 years.
But what you haven't seen is what another company did with the exact same tech. BrainCo actually had a demonstration, and I was able to do it. They took an EEG headband, and they allowed me to control a robot. Just with my thoughts, I was able to make a robot pick up balls.
And that worked?
And move. It worked, 100%.
And the company's called BrainCo?
BrainCo.
Did they do the pocket fisherman? No, that's Ronco. BrainCo.
BrainCo. So there's a little bit of robotics, a little bit of
So
AI.
you put something on that you were actually able to get a robot to do stuff?
I thought there was going to be a long configuration process. No, they were able.
What did you think?
No, so he said, the guy who was guiding me through it, he goes, okay, I want you to think about just making the robot arm move to the left.
And it did?
And it did. I'm like,
no.
How did that?
That's okay. I want to know more about that.
And so what I did is like, okay, you don't tell me anymore, because I wanted to make sure there wasn't someone around the corner who was flipping the switch.
Because he told you go left, so they go
right. So I just completely unprompted, I started making the robot like open and close its pinchers, pick up ping pong balls, and it did it. I'm thinking, how is this possible? So they've evolved it to the point where they can actually figure out what certain brainwaves look like, what a certain brainwave output should mean, and then they've been able to map it to a robotic action.
That I want.
That's cool.
That sounds very interesting.
But it's the same technology as the first one. It's just, so they've got that EEG.
Yeah, but how do they know what you're thinking? That's what I'm fascinated by.
I think they're in my head.
So you brought a few toys. Let's see what else you got. You got the watch.
Okay, well, got the watch.
I ordered this. This is going to be out February 1st, $50. This is from Anchor.
This is from, it's the ROAV Viva. It's one of the Anchor brands. So talking about voice assistants, this one actually goes into your car if you still have an accessory port.
I do, the Tesla even. It doesn't call it a cigarette port, it's a 12 volt.
So the whole idea is it's just like any other cigarette adapter. You're going to get 2 USB charging ports.
Okay.
But this is the Amazon voice assistant.
That's neat.
So it's paired through my phone.
But you could pair it to the car's speakers.
Well, you have to pair this to the phone
to
the speakers.
And then the phone is paired to the speakers.
Correct, because it needs the phone for connectivity.
Of course,
otherwise
that makes sense.
It's kind of.
Okay.
But anything I can do with an Amazon voice assistant, I can do with this. For example, okay, I'm sorry for the people who have an Amazon voice assistant.
We can't change the trigger word.
I can't change the trigger word. I really tried. Skyla, tell me a joke.
And that's coming out of your phone?
Right. But if I had this paired to a car
it would
stereo
come in
right
the
now,
car
it would come
speakers.
out of the car speakers.
So I noticed on their website they talk a lot about navigation. That's actually not what I would want to use it for. I'd want to use it for music and audiobooks.
Audiobooks. I do nothing in my car except listen to audiobooks. I have hundreds of audiobooks in my library.
I already have navigation built into my car, but I don't have a really good way at all of controlling the audiobooks. I could play them on my phone, but then I have to take out the phone if I want to change the book or something like that.
I was a little bit down on this when they told me, hey, you should play with this.
Oh,
and
good.
Like,
Order
why
pizza
would I
from
want this?
Domino's. That's smart.
Yeah.
I'm at Walnut Carborundum Network. How are you going to get pizza in your car?
Oh, well, that's Ford. You didn't see that? Ford made an autonomous pizza delivering vehicle. No, seriously, they did. Well, I've got B-roll in there. If you rewinded the B-roll.
I am right behind you. Just pull over. Your pizza's here.
They turned one of their Fusion vehicles into an autonomous vehicle that
delivers
it would pull
pizza
up to your house. You would type in the code you got off your email confirmation. The window comes down. Your pizza comes out.
Wow.
And they actually deployed those.
Wow.
And people actually liked them.
Of course they did. Of course they did. So this is the ROAV, $50 from Anchor. This is the ROAV, or I think they probably pronounce it Rove. Viva.
The Viva.
The Viva.
Yeah.
That'll be out February 1. I pre-ordered it on Amazon.
Now
I'm so
this
excited.
one, Leo, I kind of like.
I need this.
Gotta bump that out.
But you're not talking about the speaker. You're talking about the thing you're going to, or the screen. You're going to project onto that screen.
So this is the new Nebula capsule.
Oh, I just bought a Nebula.
I know. Well, you bought the Nebula Mars, and I liked it. You didn't. You weren't a big fan of it.
I have it at home. I mean, it's okay. It's a small projector with a big battery. It has good speakers, but it's bigger than this.
It is bigger than, now this is a true Pico projector. So this is only 100 lumen.
How far away can I get?
They say you can get a 100-inch screen. I don't think you want to do that.
But it's too dim to really do that with,
right. It's only 100 lumen. Now, this does run Android. This is Android 7.1, which was, some people didn't like that about the Mars because it was an older version of Android. This has way more of the apps that you might want to do. Now, that
was my only problem with the Mars. There were some apps I couldn't get on there. The Voodoo was missing. I had YouTube, I had Netflix, I had TED. These are the default apps that it comes with.
So I can control it with this remote, but what I like about this is they also have the ability to control it via your phone. So if you've ever been annoyed at having to select the title of your thing with just this remote, I can now control this
for passwords and searching.
Or using the onboard keyboard.
Nice.
And this does have a 360-degree speaker. So for example, let's go to YouTube. It sounds pretty. Wait, I'm sorry. I forgot to connect it to this Wi-Fi here. The battery life on this is 4 hours, so it'll do 4 hours of projection.
Not bad.
But if you just use the Bluetooth speaker, it will do 30 hours of 360-degree audio.
Okay.
So it's not bad. Price, it's a little pricey. It's $349.
All right.
So I know a lot of people are going to balk at that, but I got to say, this was probably one of the coolest pieces of tech that I saw that I could take home now.
And that is from Anchor. It's their Nebula
capsule.
Capsule.
The capsule. Now, Anchor is a big story, Leo.
I got to get that screen. I'm more interested in the screen than anything else you've shown.
Now, Anchor started off as just a battery company. After that, people remember them.
Yeah, and they're good. I like them.
And actually, they really started as the battery company that just sold their stuff OEM. All their manufacturers would take it, they'd put their names on it, and that's
I didn't know that, really.
Then, I'd say, what, six years ago?
They said, we're going to be the Apple of battery packs.
Right.
We're just going to do it nice, package it well.
And they started buying up brands. So they bought up Nebula, they bought ROAV, they bought Eufy, they bought Zolo. So they're buying all these premium brands, and they're slowly building up this empire of consumer electronics. They're a company to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I really like Anker's stuff. I have for a long time. All right, well, there's some interesting products you brought back. You didn't bring back a Bitcoin miner from Kodak.
I actually did bring back a Bitcoin miner. I'm not allowed to show anybody what it looks like.
Is it this one?
No.
Because I have a picture of it right here. So, wait a minute. Now, this is not Eastman Kodak, Rochester, New York Kodak.
No, because remember, Kodak went under.
They went under.
They went under. So this is the corpse of Kodak? Kodak corpse?
They are in Rochester.
I guess.
But they're in a strip mall down the road.
Yeah.
They're not a big, but they're making two things, which I think is very interesting. This is they're doing a Bitcoin ICO, right? Or or an issue. Their own coins.
Kodacoin.
Kodacoin. And then, which by the way, this is the key in the stock market. Their stock went because of the Kodacoin.
We're living in crazy town.
This is welcome to TWiT Bitcoin, or I don't know, TWitcoin.
We could, you know how much, if we could make Leo coin.
No. I know I can make a lot of money, but so they're making a Bitcoin miner, but that's not practicable these days. You can't, unless you get your power for free. This is not. Is it an ASIC-based specialized processor?
Yeah, I mean they've all got their own DSPs. That's the thing about mining. When it starts, any cryptocurrency, when it starts, it's easy. You can do it on your laptop. You
get
can do it
in,
on your
get
desktop.
in early because your Dogecoin, your millions of Dogecoin, that's how worth $1.50.
I know. I can buy a pizza.
Don't.
At the very beginning,
you'll regret it.
The proof of work is set very low because they want to see the economy. But once it gets up there, the only real way you can do it is by buying specialized DSPs that just do that hash. They just do the proof of work. And Kodak, like several other companies, has realized if we put crypto or bit in our name, we can boom the stock. And that's exactly what they did.
If that's not enough, they also, because Dick B.D. Bartolo was telling me about this, they brought back the Super 8 film recorder.
That's got me excited.
And they're selling film and they're selling processing. But get this, it's $3,000 for the, it's Super 8. $3,000, and then the film with processing is about $100 a reel. So I don't understand what the market is for this, but I guess some sort of nostalgia play. I don't know.
Well, you have to remember, Kodak is the same company that before they went under, they thought that by bringing Lady Gaga in.
That's Polaroid. That was Polaroid.
Was that Polaroid?
I understand your confusion. I totally do, because they're equally defunct.
Oh.
But, you know, I don't know if this is the same guy or if this is somebody bought the name and bought a storefront in Rochester. I don't know. But anyway.
Surprisingly, though, Leo, now that you mention it, Bitcoin wasn't a big thing at CES.
It wasn't?
I mean, yeah, they talked about it, but you didn't see that mad rush to cash in on Bitcoin.
The word is blockchain. Everybody's talking blockchain, right? That's because that's the underlying technology, the crypto register that all of these
distributed ledger.
And that's the flavor of the
That's the technology. I mean, that technology is actually interesting.
Well, you're going to do a know-how on this.
Oh, yeah.
I know. In fact, maybe I'll come by because I'd
love that.
I want you to help me crack my wallet open.
You know, they were specifically designed so I couldn't do that, Leo.
Everybody I know now says, "Is your wallet? Did you get your wallet? Can I have some money?" No, I don't. John found his wallet.
Well, wait, Steve has a wallet with like 5 Bitcoin in it, right?
50.
He has 50 Bitcoin?
50. The thing is, he didn't lose his wallet. It's in a defunct computer in the corner.
Oh, no.
The hard drives failed. And I said, too bad Steve Gibson doesn't know anybody who can recover hard drives. And he says, well, I'm just going to leave it there. I said, Steve.
Okay, no.
You've got almost $1 million of Bitcoin sitting in a computer in your corner.
You know, at that point, you do pay for one of those crazy expensive data recovery services that will actually take the platter
He could
out
get
of
it
the
back.
drive.
No, the drive's fine. It was a RAID array. He can rebuild it. He's just lazy. Lazy, I tell you. Lazy. Scott Wilkinson also went. Did you see Scott when you were there?
You know what? I think I saw him like in passing.
Well, as you know, Scott is our home theater guru, our AV expert. He actually is an editor at avsforum.com, and he went down there and I actually talked to him earlier today about what he saw at CES. Hey, Scott, we're recording this a little bit ahead of time so you can drive home. I always have to ask, how many miles did you walk this week at CES?
26.44.
Holy cow. That's real close to a marathon. But you did it over how many days?
5 days.
Wow.
Yeah,
So I have to
55,845 steps.
I have to ask you about the big story, which is, I think, at least in home theater, the micro LED display from Samsung.
That is the big story. It's a new TV technology, not brand new. We've seen it before in professional and commercial applications, but this is the first one introduced for the home. It consists of tiny little LEDs in triplets, red, green, and blue. That combination is about 1 millimeter wide. They're about 1 millimeter apart. And they're embedded into tiles, maybe a foot square or something like that. And you assemble these tiles into whatever screen you want. And they were showing a 146-inch screen with a resolution of 4K Ultra HD.
Wow.
And it looks
big.
Phenomenal. It's big.
And
it's
because
big.
of the tiles, you can get it in the house. You don't have to take the roof off the house. But I learned something from you and your article at AVS Forum that was a little disappointing. You have to make that screen that big to get 4K.
To get 4K, that's right. The resolution of each tile is fixed. And so if you make a smaller screen, you'll get less than 4K. If you make a bigger screen, you'll get more than 4K. If you wanted an 8K screen, you would need to make one 4 times that big.
So
now they're working on reducing the pixel size and the pixel pitch, that is the distance between the pixels, to make they're hoping to get a 75-inch 4K at some point. But this 146-inch will actually be a product you can buy this year.
No price. No pricing.
Yeah. And believe me, if you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Okay.
But it's phenomenal. It's meant to replace a projector, really. And it has all the benefits of a flat panel TV, much better, actually. Much better brightness than OLED, much deeper blacks than LCD. You can watch it in a room with ambient light, unlike a projector, which you have to really have either an ambient light rejecting screen or a dark, blacked out room in order to enjoy the full benefit of a projector. You don't need any of that.
And
perfect uniformity.
OLED has some negatives. It has a burn-in issue, and it wears over time, right? It dims.
Yeah, it does.
Does micro LED solve those problems?
Mostly, yes. Certainly, LEDs they're very hot because they're very bright, so they will degrade over time. But it's a very slow degrade. So it's going to be years and years and years and years, many, many years.
And does it use the same amount of power as a standard TV, or is it a regular?
Oh no, it'll be more, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
They aren't talking about that, but I can't imagine it would be a very energy efficient sort of thing.
And it generates heat.
Yes, I'm sure it does.
That's interesting. Could you feel the heat on the screen?
I didn't get close enough to really judge that.
They probably didn't want you to.
Well, they kind of roped it off.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. What else did you see?
Oh, tons of cool stuff. There was some 8K TVs, which I've said many times, 8K isn't really that important for just a 2D picture. 4K is plenty enough for where most people sit compared to the screen size. But I saw a really great application of it, which is auto stereoscopic, that is no glasses 3D. If you have an 8K panel, that starts to look really, really good.
Wait a minute, no glasses. How do they do that?
No glasses. They do it by, interesting, it's a company called Stream TV Networks, and they have a 2D image plus depth information, a depth map. And so it does have viewing cones, but they're very, very minimal. I mean, I just sort of sat down any old where, and I could see the 3D perfectly well. And I moved around, and the picture kind of shimmers a little bit as you move around. But once you sit down and stay in one spot, and I don't mean rigidly, you can move your head around, it looked phenomenal. Really great.
Interesting.
Let's see. The LG rollable OLED was kind of cool.
Yeah, we all saw that. Now, I misunderstood the purpose of that. I thought it was so you could roll it up and take it out, take it on your arm and take it somewhere else. But that's not.
Eventually, that may very well be. This was a technology demonstration to show they could do it.
And
they could make a flexible, rollable OLED, and when it unrolled and was up, in its position, it looked just like any other OLED. Beautiful, gorgeous.
So it's like one of those movie projector screens you roll down and roll up when you.
Yes.
So that's the market for somebody who doesn't want anybody to know they have a TV.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Let's see. Sony had a 10,000 nit demo. It was a technology demo, not a real product, but HDR, high dynamic range, maxes out at 10,000 nits, and no display up till now has been able to get close to that. So they did that in order to have some headroom. Well, Sony demonstrated that it could be done, and it looks just like looking out a window, much more so than any other TV I've ever seen. It's quite amazing.
Why would brightness make it more realistic?
Because go outside on a sunny day, look at a car with chrome and the sun reflecting off the chrome. That tiny little reflection is more than 10,000 nits in reality. So this looks much more like you're actually looking at reality. It also has much more depth without being 3D. It just looks like you're literally looking out a window. And they said that ever since the early high definition days, but this really does do it. Nice. One other thing I want to mention in terms of audio is Denon introduced a 13.2 channel audio video receiver, which lets you do 7.1.6 Dolby Atmos with 6 overhead channels. Up till now, that's been limited to 4 in the home, and now we have 6, and so that's a flagship product, but it'll be out this year. Tons of sound bars with Dolby Atmos, mostly using digital signal processing to simulate the immersive sound field, but very effective. Really, really good.
You find out more at Scott's website, avsforum.com. Scott, safe drive home. I can tell you're getting a little of the CES crud.
Yeah, I got a little bit of it.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. What were you there when the lights went out?
I was just outside the central hall, and I heard tell of people running, screaming from the building.
There's something ironic that all those TVs, that beautiful roll-up LED canyon, old LED canyon, was just dark for like 2 hours.
Just went down, and how they rebooted it, I don't know.
Thank you, Scott.
Pleasure.
Now, really what you want is your 8mm Super 8 video film on an 8K screen.
Right, with 5,000 speakers. 2 on your hips. That's the good stuff.
I have to say, of all the things, though, at CES, well, cars is one.
Cars.
And I think home theater is another. That's really where it's still the big show, right?
There was one company I saw at Showstoppers. They're still a startup. I'm going to have a conversation with them later. They had an interesting 30-driver speaker bar. But what the cool thing was, there was an app, because they're steerable. So you can actually say, okay, I've got a person here and a person here. That's cool. And those 2 people will actually get the surround.
Yeah, that's neat.
It's like, okay, that's the kind of tech I like.
We'll see.
Yeah.